Hi, I'm here with John Koppelman from Renaissance Alliance. John is the Senior Workers' Comp Advisor? Consultant here at Renaissance. And we're an agent for Renaissance, member of the group. And Renaissance is made up of, I think it's over 100 agents now.
That's correct.
That aggregate in excess of $500 million in premium. And I like to think of Renaissance as negotiating power on steroids.
Absolutely.
With that much premium volume, we have the pick of the litter, you might say, of coverages, cost, terms, and conditions. So from my perspective as an independent insurance agent, it provides me with a lot of leverage, and I can do a lot more for my insurance than I could if I was just out on my own.
That's correct. And my role in all of that as a workers' comp specialist, I'm available to you and to your insureds to help them understand workers' comp and control the losses.
Good. John, one of the things that is in the works for Massachusetts, and I believe it's been in the rollout phase countrywide, is this change in the calculation of experience mods. And you know, this is such a complicated subject for many of my insureds. But I think there's good reason for them to know that their loss experience is going to have much more of an effect, both on a positive basis as well as a negative basis if they have a poor loss experience. So tell me about what's happening here.
This is the first change in the way the experience mod is calculated in 20 years. And the reason for the change is that the workers' comp world has changed a lot over the last 20 years. Claims have gotten bigger. So in workers' comp, there's always an effort to make you pay for your losses, pay more for your insurance. And if you're loss-free or low-loss insured, you pay less for insurance. So it's experience rated, it's highly loss sensitive. Under the new rules, it's more loss sensitive than it was before, which means low-loss employers are going to benefit from even lower premiums, but on the other hand, high-loss employers are going to pay more for the same insurance. So it underscores the need to really be in control of your losses over the course of the experience rating period.
Now, I was reading something in regards to these changes that the net effect of all the insurance premiums collected nationwide should be the same.
Well, that would be statewide. Statewide. And the reason for that is if the change in rules were to make the premiums go up, that would be a rate increase and it would require state approval. So the net effect is zero. So for every dollar of additional premium that a high loss employer pays, some other employer is going to pay $1 less. So it balances.
So much, great importance has to be, great attention has to be given then to claims for an individual.
Absolutely.
Always. His claims now will have a much greater effect on his experience mode.
Especially the larger claims. And we'll be talking a little bit in the course of our discussion about how those claims are actually get translated into the future costs of insurance. And to begin with, the first, currently in Massachusetts, the first $5,000 of every individual claim goes into the calculation dollar for dollar. There's no discount. Once you get above $5,000, there's substantial discount applies. For many of your smaller insureds, 90% of that amount goes away. That split point between primary losses and what are called excess losses is about to change in Massachusetts, probably next year in 2014. It's already changed in New Hampshire and Connecticut and other New England states. The split point is going to $10,000 in the first year, and after 3 years it's going to $15,000. What that means is very simple. If you have a loss that's over $5,000, over $10,000, over $15,000, that loss will have a greater impact on the future cost of insurance.
Now, is it losses, how about losses that occurred prior to 2013?
Well, that's the interesting thing about the way the experience mod is calculated. It goes back 5 years. So you are currently, let's assume you're in policy year 2013, which begins sometime during this calendar year. The losses that go into that calculation are from 2009, 2010, and 2011. So this is retroactive, even though it isn't being presented that way.
So actually losses that had an effect in Massachusetts, let's say. those smaller losses under five, or those losses of 5,000 or more that occurred in 2010 that may not have any effect on my mod in 2013. When this is rolled out in Massachusetts in 2014, if that claim was 10,000, then that loss will have a greater effect on my experience mod.
It's very likely that it would, yes. And what you need to keep in mind is that because it's retroactive, your calculation today with the same numbers might be different when the new calculation is implemented, presumably in January of next year.
And what about these large losses? Where is the point where that loss has no further implications?
This is important for insureds to understand. If you have a $500,000 claim, which is not difficult to reach that point if you have, for example, someone who becomes a quadriplegic as a result of an industrial accident or an automobile accident that's in the course and scope of employment, you would think that would ruin your experience rating for the 3-year period. Each state has its own cap. In Massachusetts, the current cap is $175,000 for any individual claim. And as a point of comparison, in Connecticut, it's $260,500. It's a larger cap in Connecticut, which is a higher cost state than Massachusetts is.
Where does Massachusetts rank in the cost of
Well, we have a reputation as Taxachusetts, but for workers' compensation, we're one of the least expensive states in the country. We're ranked 44th. We used to be ranked 20 years ago when the new experience mod calculation came in. We were ranked number 2. So we've gone from number 2 to number 44 in the course of 20 years. It's a great success story in Massachusetts. Connecticut's going in the other direction. They're now ranked number 2 for cost in the country, the second highest, second only to Alaska.